In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do a sunflower. I'm using 3 strands of floss, and I'm using a woven picot method of making the petals. If you don't know this method, I have a tutorial up that will teach you how to do it. It looks very complicated, but it's actually quite easy and looks very effective. Specifically for this flower, I'm pinning down each petal instead of letting them just be loose. They kind of look a little like ears of corn, but I promise they'll look like petals at the end. And then to fill in the inside, I'm taking 3 strands of floss and making some French knots. I also have a tutorial up for this if you don't know how to do them. I like to follow around the perimeter first and gradually fill in the circle. And that's your finished sunflower. I find this to be a more interesting way to do it, so I hope it helps and follow for more.
I begin to
Turkey work stitch part 3. Start by cutting through each loop and then trim and shape your thread. Keep a piece of masking tape handy to clean up loose thread bits. Continue trimming and shaping until you achieve the desired look. Then I like to use an eyelash brush to fluff it up a bit. You should end up with something like this. Here are some pieces where I used turkey work stitch. Let me know if you enjoyed the tutorial.
Okay, everybody always asks for a full tutorial, so here it is. We're going to use the bottom hoop underneath the top layer of the sweater, place a stabilizer, and then the top hoop, tightening it, and here I'm placing the bobbin into my machine, and now I'm hooping the sweater, making sure that any excess fabric is away from the needle, and then I'm just putting my design into the machine and moving it to where I want it on the sweater, and I'm threading the first color. You'll have to thread every single step, so I'm just starting it while it embroiders, and then it's done. Take it out of the machine, cut the jump stitches on the front and back, and then I use a lighter to burn the loose ends to make sure that nothing unravels. Now I'm spraying it with water to get rid of the hoop marks, and then I'm going to fold it. I can do an in-depth tutorial on folding as well, and then it is all done. Thank you.
Today, I'm going to be embroidering on the sweatshirt, and I'm going to be using this cute free DMC pattern called Woodland Mushrooms. I start by getting all my embroidery supplies together. Then, taking DMC magic paper, I trace the provided design with a water-soluble marker. Once done, I cut around the design and peel and stick it down onto the sweater. Then, I take the recommended floss colors and start stitching. I get a lot of comments saying that some of you want to start embroidering but can't draw. But really, you don't have to know how to draw to embroider. DMC has hundreds of free embroidery patterns available on their website. The patterns include the design, the stitches you need to use and where and how to use them, floss color recommendation, and other tips for the embroidery. This pattern is called Woodland Mushroom, but honestly, they have so many great designs. And best of all, they're free for you to use. Once I finished stitching, I washed off the magic paper, and this is the final sweatshirt. I'm so happy with how it came out, and I think it's my new favorite sweatshirt. Today, I'm going to teach you how to embroider patches using this free DMC pattern called Inside the Greenhouse Leaf Cuttings. I picked 2 leaves that I liked and took DMC magic paper and traced the provided design onto the paper. Once done, I cut out each leaf and prepared my hoop with a cotton blend fabric. Then I stick down each design onto the fabric and take the recommended floss colors and start stitching. DMC has hundreds of free embroidery patterns available on their website, and I thought these cute leaves would make great patches. Once I finish stitching the designs, I wash off the magic paper with warm water. When the fabric is fully dry, I take some iron-on interfacing and seal in the backside. This helps to make sure the patch is clean and all threads are sealed. I then cut around the patch, leaving a small gap around it. You can see here it all sealed and neat. I then take a different color of floss and make a small blanket stitch around the patch. I really love the finish that a blanket stitch gives. And these are the completed patches. You can then sew them onto anything that you'd like I do here on these jeans. I really love the way it came out. Using dryer sheets as interfacing is something I never even thought of. They look almost the same, except the dryer sheet is waxy. I drew my logo design on a shirt and put the dryer sheet behind the design. I then put my hoop on my shirt, making sure that the dryer sheet was sandwiched in between. Immediately, I could feel a difference in how secure it was. I then trimmed up the back so it was easier to work and got to stitching. I did notice some puckering at the fabric, but overall, this really works. I trimmed up the back once I was finished stitching, and this is the final product. So yes, a dryer sheet as interfacing or stabilizer does work.
Hey guys, today I'm gonna be making a rainbow embroidery. All you need is to learn how to do a back stitch. It's super simple and very fun to make.
So a lot of people have been questioning about the tracing paper included in our embroidery kits. It's made out of paper but feels very much like a non-woven fabric. It works with both heat and water erasable pens. The ink will transfer into the fabric when you trace on top of it. Inks can be removed by heat or water.
In this video, I'm going to teach you how to embroider some lavender. I'm using a dark green and a light purple floss and separating the green into 2 strands. I've drawn some slightly curved lines on my fabric, and I'll be using these as a guideline for my backstitch. If you don't know how to do a backstitch, I have a tutorial up that will teach you how to. And I used a heat erasable pen so I can get rid of the lines once I'm finished embroidering. Once you've finished embroidering the stems, we'll move on to the petals. I've put these dots as a guideline to where I want my lazy daisy stitches to end. I separated my purple floss into 3 strands and begin my lazy daisy stitches. If you don't know how to do these stitches, I have a tutorial up on my page that will teach you. I like to have 3 petals at the top of each stalk and then 2 on either side of the stalks going down. But you can add as many or as little as you want. And that's the final lavender. Let me know what flower tutorial you'd like to see next, and follow me on here and on Insta for more. Today we're learning my most used stitch, a backstitch. And I'm going to be using 2 strands of floss for this. Start by pulling the thread through the fabric. Put it back in a few millimeters away from the first stitch. Now instead of coming back from where you just put in, you're going to go just a little bit ahead. And then you're going to go back to where you ended your first stitch. This is such a helpful stitch to know when you're starting embroidery. It's good for lining, but I feel like it's just a fundamental stitch that you should know. I'll be uploading how to do a chain stitch and French knots, so follow for more.